Hello, everyone, and welcome to Petworking, a podcast focused on pet care and animal health. I'm here today with an exciting introduction that we've been teasing since the start of the show. I did promise when we introduced Petworking that it would feature contributions from my longtime colleague of 5 years, Jessica Stewart, and we are finally delivering on that promise today. So I am here to introduce the world to Jess, who will be helping me out with her expertise in the field of animal diagnostics. Prior to joining Maia Strategy 5 years ago, Jess was a diagnostic support consultant at IDEXX for about 5 years as well. Right, Jess?
Yes, that's correct. It's been a long time since I've been at IDEXX, but yes, diagnostic support consultant was my role when I was there. So I was supporting both in-house diagnostics, so the in-clinic analyzers, but also the reference labs side of the IDEXX business as well.
Great. Well, I know your experience in diagnostics has been really valuable to us here at Maia. We do a lot of work on the human diagnostic side of the spectrum, and your expertise in animal health diagnostics is translated nicely over to human health diagnostics. And now, here, years later, we are fully leveraging the depth of your expertise, as you've been supporting me in the pet care and animal health practice. So, Jess, I know, the impetus for this conversation was some episodes that we're going to have coming up, but just prior to getting on here, you had emailed me an article about a new startup coming out of Raleigh, which is where your sister lives, I think. Oncotect. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, it was very ironic that I came across the article. I will be in Raleigh this weekend, actually visiting my sister and some family. So pretty ironic there. But yeah, this new tech company called Oncotect, they actually just recently rebranded. So some may be familiar with their previous name, which was Animal Cancer DX Diagnostics. They developed a canine cancer screening test. So it is a screening test to determine risk. Basically, the results are kind of low, medium, or high, bucketing, the patient's results into, risk level for developing cancer. A staggering statistic, 1 in 4 dogs will develop cancer in their lifetime. And that goes up, with age, obviously. So 50% of dogs over the age of 10 years will develop cancer. So, definitely a need for this in the veterinary space. Seen other companies come out with it too, but this one is really focused on urine. And actually what's fascinating about it is they're using roundworms to help quantify and to test this. So these roundworms have an amazing sense of smell, and they're able to detect the cancer in the sample based on the odor molecules that are released by the cancerous cells. So they're able to quantify that, the preferential behavior towards that urine, determining, if that canine, may have a predisposition towards cancer. So I thought that was extremely interesting. A lot of the other tests that are out there, we've seen, Oncocanine and Volitions tests for just examples that are using blood as the sample, which, is great, definitely as options. But, as a kind of speaking with my vet hat on, I'm not a vet, but speaking with my vet hat on, those, can be hard draws to pull. Blood is not fun to pull from a canine, let alone for me as a human. So urine, I thought it was just a great kind of development, that we're seeing in the veterinary space.
Right. Now I know, obviously urine probably preferable to blood, but urine also not an easy specimen to catch either. And I think I read in the article that you sent that Oncotect is actually looking to roll this out on the D2C, the home care side of things as well.
Yes.
Talk to us, what's the mechanism that they're collecting the urine through?
Yeah, so they are on the way that this test is set up, using a urine sample. That is something that a pet owner or pet parent, would be able to collect at home. So it does, lend nicely to both a D2C offering, as well as, an in-clinic, vet part of a vet exam. But, as the at-home testing option, obviously, you're going to collect this, what they call free catch. So this is, essentially following your dog to, their spot that they're choosing to urinate and just collecting it, midstream, and collecting enough of the sample. I think it was 1 milliliter of urine that they would need to run this test. So, it could go either way, being a vet exam, or, something that you could do at home with your own pet.
And when we're doing it at home with our own pet, um, you know, that's pretty much following your dog around with a sterile cup
Yes.
and hoping you can
Yes.
get it in there.
Exactly. Yeah. So definitely a little bit stressful, maybe for both sides. Mom, why are you following me around? And the dog, the trying to kind of find them and hit the stream. So yes, a little
All
bit
right.
difficult, but certainly possible.
Yeah. No, definitely. Want to take all the precautions in the world. And I know I've mentioned on previous episodes, Peony is a cancer survivor, and that has driven a lot of my interest in the cancer diagnostic space. I know when we were at Western Vet earlier this year, I was blown away and posted on LinkedIn about the Heska and Volition Veterinary NuQ partnership, just because of the rapid turnaround time that test can provide. And I think we're going to be talking to Ben Handler at Heska next week and recording an episode with him. So we're really excited about that. But from a personal perspective, I know when Peony was diagnosed with melanoma, we did the cytology sample, and it took days to get those results back. And it was a really agonizing period of wondering, is this strange lump that we found cancerous or not? So I think that technology has tons of potential, and I know Ben and the team at Heska are really excited to talk to us about it, and I'm equally as excited to have a chance to sit down with them and discuss it more. I think the other thing you mentioned, and kind of letting folks know where we're going to be going in upcoming episodes here on Petworking is the idea of D2C diagnostics. And we're going to be taking a look on the D2C side of things. They sell through veterinary clinics as well, but while we were at Global Pet this spring, we talked to AnimalBiome, who has both a veterinary and at-home microbiome gut health test that is collected with a fecal sample. And that's pretty easy. You scoop the poop up in the bag. They actually sent me a complimentary kit. I took the sample with Peony last weekend, and we're going to be setting up some time. It's still the end of May here, but we're going to be setting up some time in June to talk to the folks at AnimalBiome about their technology, how they view the D2C diagnostic market, the differences and challenges of selling in both the veterinary space as well as at home and D2C. So that will be exciting as well.
Looking forward to that one. Definitely. The results coming back for Peony. Very eager to see those.
Yeah, no, I'm eager to see it too. I know we've done, a lot of work, in terms of advising on D2C diagnostic solutions, and up until now, D2C diagnostics have largely been in the human health space, and so we've done a lot of analysis looking at companies like Everly Health and Everlywell and Viome. And True, I think it's True Diagnostic, epigenetic solutions and things like that. But it is interesting now kind of seeing this D2C diagnostic trend proliferate into the pet space. As a diagnostic support consultant, you were largely working with veterinarians. What are your thoughts around, I know there's a lot of hesitancy around the acceptance of D2C diagnostic solutions, both on the human health side of things and within the veterinary community. Talk to us a little bit about why that is the case, and what's your opinion on the utility of D2C diagnostics?
Yeah, I think it's really similar across both the human and the animal market, right? I mean, you have, taking a test. Think of a COVID test, right? Me taking it for myself at home, to see if I'm able to go into work tomorrow. I have symptoms. It's the same thing, right? There's sample quality issues that you might run into if I'm not going up high enough with the swab. There's things that could be interferences that may interference with the test if I'm on, a certain drug, or if I'm taking steroids for, something else that may be impacting. So those are the kinds of things, like as my time as a DSC, diagnostic support consultant, were the things that we were, talking to the veterinarians about, things you have to consider are the test, the sample collection, right? How are you going to get it? What type is it going to be? Is it feasible to get that from the patient? And then also too, interferences. I think those are probably the two biggest things. And I think that you could run into that easily, just as you can on the human side, in the pet world too, and collecting samples and sending them in for your patient, or for your pet rather. So I think those are some of the challenges, but I definitely think that it opens up this just kind of new route that we can take, where there might be screening tests that are, a little bit more resilient and can take some of those. And then it might be just like, okay, I got some maybe not good results, I need to follow up with my vet, right? And that gets you in front of a vet who can get more, diagnostic tools involved and has that expertise to be able to make a proper diagnosis if that need be. So I think it's a great starting point, but, I think that, following up with a vet or obviously a doctor after that to confirm those results is really the most valuable piece of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's one of those things that we're in the early stages, right? And people are, flexing their muscles, so to speak, and acclimating to this new introduction of patients, whether they be human or animal, becoming more involved in the direction of their care. And I think, on the human health side of things, we're becoming more and more comfortable with being advocates for our own care and understanding that our doctors are very busy, and that if we can be knowledgeable about our own health and work with them as a partner, we're going to arrive at better health outcomes. But we're still seeing, because of the reasons you mentioned with sample quality and things like that, doctors being a little bit more reluctant to the introduction of D2C diagnostics. And I think it's a similar thing on the animal health side. But I think there's probably still a lot of room. And one of the big goals I had in launching Petworking was making pet parents greater and more informed advocates in their pet's health, because it's hard enough to stay on top of your own health, but and your kids and your dogs and things like that. So I think a lot of times people do just rely on the recommendations of their veterinarian, but your vet is similarly busy, just like a doctor. And so if you can become a more knowledgeable, informed advocate for your pet's health using vetted sources, like we bring on the show here at Petworking, you're going to be able to contribute to a greater quality of life, hopefully a longer lifespan for your pet. But it really does require making sure that you are getting your information from vetted quality expert sources, but then also leveraging that to be an advocate and work as a partner with your vet to deliver the best quality of life for your pet.
I agree. Yeah, I think the empowering of pet, I think there's been an evolution, right? Like pet owners now to pet parents, taking them in as if they were their kids. That kind of idea has really come through, especially after the pandemic, when there was that boom of pet adoption. So I think it's really nice to see people wanting to take that kind of position of advocacy for their pets. And I think it empowers the pet owner too, honestly, or the pet parent, to be able to learn how they can best take care of their pet. I keep wanting to say patient, but that is the vet, pet, and being able to, really be an advocate for them in their medical needs and health needs.
Yeah, no, it's so true. I mean, I say pet owner from time to time, but we all regard our pets as our babies now. We still call Peony our first baby here. And I often say I would not have been prepared to be a father if I had not had a dog first. So it definitely teaches you a lot in that regard. And they are just like your, except for the fact that they can't talk. And sometimes, depending on how old your kids are, they listen better. But it's definitely a pet parent mindset. So for sure.
Which is great. I think it's great. I'm not a pet parent. I unfortunately lost my rabbit a few years ago. She was old. She lived to about 12 years old. So she lived a long life with me, but I'm not a pet parent currently, but my sister's dog Coda is my my nephew. So yes, we all definitely treat them as if they were our own kids.
Absolutely. There's definitely, I think a big part of responsible pet ownership is knowing when's the right time to have a pet, right?
Yes,
and we adopted Peony 6.5 years ago, and she's the first dog I've ever had. I wasn't allowed to have one growing up, and it really didn't make sense in college or when I was renting. But we're super happy to have her now. And Jess, I know it's not directly related to cancer diagnostics or D2C diagnostics, but maybe the other exciting thing we can tease out on the show here is that on the pet nutrition and pet care side of things, we will be at the Pet Sustainability Coalition Impact Unleashed conference next week in Colorado. I'm super excited for that. Seeing what folks are doing, in the pet care, pet nutrition. I think there are going to be some animal health companies there as well, but sustainability is something that impacts all of us, and making sure that sustainable practices are being followed in the pet care and animal health space, and doing what we can to save the planet is super critical. So I'm excited that we're going to be going to that, and hopefully if folks are listening and you want to meet up with us out in Colorado next week, Jess and I will be there. We can talk about sustainability, diagnostics, anything pet care or animal health related. We'd love to have a chat.
Yes, absolutely. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be fun. Well, thanks everyone for taking the time. Just wanted to throw this out there again. Super psyched to finally be able to fulfill the promise of having contributions from Jess on the show. And we will look forward to seeing you on future episodes of Petworking. And for those of you in Colorado next week, look us up. Take care. This is Peter Kenseth. And
thanks, Jess Stewart. Thank you, everyone.
Signing off. All right. Take care.